It's Thirsty Thursday. You're so thirsty, thirsty Thursday. Thirsty for knowledge, thirsty Thursday. Drink it up.
Most people have aspirations of moving up the corporate ladder. But what happens when you put in the work and all of a sudden the coworkers, the sidekicks that you've had for all this time, all of a sudden become your subordinates? I discussed this topic specifically in my session, The Leadership Game, It's Not a Monopoly. But I thought I'd give you a few tips today on how to handle this sometimes awkward situation when all of a sudden our previous sidekicks are our subordinates and we have to delegate, motivate, coach, and even correct these individuals with maybe little to no training on how to make this happen. So let's say you got that great promotion and now the people that yesterday were working beside you are now the people that you oversee. How do you handle this? Especially if one of the other people beside you also wanted that same job. Awkward! The first thing to do is understand that it's awkward for everyone. It's not just awkward for you, it's awkward for them. And it might also be a little painful. So it's okay to acknowledge that. You can say, I know this is kind of weird. Like yesterday we were having drinks and now it's like, I don't want to show up to work hungover. Is it gonna get me in trouble? Don't go to work hungover, folks. That will get you into trouble. But I think it's important to understand and recognize and make it known. Hey guys, I know this is really awkward for everyone and I just want to kind of lighten the mood a little bit and just let you know that I feel awkward too. So let's work through this together. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you conduct one-on-one discovery meetings with every single team member. No matter how long you've worked with someone or how well you think that you know them, now you're in a supervisory role. Your relationship is different. And so it's important to really sit down with them and get to know their long-term goals. What are their expectations of their job? What are their expectations of you as a leader? You really want to have these one-on-one conversations before you address the group as a whole. Because once you take the information from these one-on-one conversations, then when you start to share your vision with the group, you can actually pull in from those conversations and already show a team that's united. The next thing you want to make sure you do is share your vision with your team. Even if you've been working with these people for a while, you may think that, oh, well, they know how I operate, they know how I am, it's gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's not the way that it works. You are now the person who's leading the ship and the relationship is different, but also the expectation of you is different, your expectation of them is different, and it's important that they understand your vision for the property and your vision and how it aligns with the company's goals. So it's really important that after those one-on-one meetings, you have a group meeting and you kind of share where you hope to take the property and what your expectations are as a team. Now, one good thing about moving up the corporate ladder and overseeing a team that you've been working with for a while is that you might already be familiar with their strengths. So play to those strengths, especially when you're trying to get a feeling for your new role and there's a lot to learn. Even if you've been in the industry for a long time, this is a new role and there's more to it than you probably expected. So while you're trying to catch up, business is still running, right? So make sure you're using your team members to their strengths and you're allowing them to shine in those areas and kind of take some of the load off by empowering them to make decisions and handle situations that you know that they are capable of doing. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you set and maintain standards. And this is key to do from day one. A lot of managers make mistakes by going in and saying, oh, I'm going to be friendly to everyone because I want them to be friendly with me and that's how I want to be led. And that's great, but there has to be boundaries and we have to be clear on our expectations and the standards that are going to be expected. And when people don't meet those standards, it's important that we go through a process, a coaching process, that there's consequences, that they understand what that process will be, because you were just sidekicks. And so you didn't have that relationship before, and hey, she's my friend, or hey, that's my drinking buddy. They're not gonna, lay down the hammer on me. They'll be fine. Oh, we'll laugh it off later. But the truth of the matter is you have a job to do. And so if you're not setting and maintaining those standards early on, it's really hard to recover from that on the back end. And next, you want to keep socializing to a minimum. These might be people that you are used to hanging out with, but now you're in a leadership role. And so I'm not saying that you can't go to happy hour, but what I am saying is you can't stay out till 3 a.m. You shouldn't be their middle night call. You can go have one drink and leave. First of all, you don't want to be put in a position where you might be asked about things that maybe you're not allowed to talk about, or that things that might come up that might not work well in the workplace. But second of all, let's just remember we all work together, and they need to be able to talk bad about their boss. So you need to leave so they can complain about you and get it out of their system. Don't hang out around too long. It's okay to socialize, but keep it to a minimum. It will make everyone more comfortable and will help ensure that on a daily basis, you can actually be more effective in your job and ensure that there's a certain level of understanding that, hey, I get that my authority is important and I want you to understand that as well. And finally, remember to be humble and fair, especially when you have been friends with the people that you're working with. We have relationships with some of our coworkers, and they might be closer than some of the other relationships that we have. But when you're in a management or leadership role, you can't play favorites. So you must remain humble. Avoid the whole, well, because I said so and I'm in charge mentality. And remember to be fair. That when something goes wrong, you need to hear every side of the story, not just the sides that you tend to believe. Of all of the suggestions that I've given you today, remaining humble and fair is probably the most important. Because regardless of what leadership position you're in, humility goes a long way with your team members. And having a reputation of being tough but fair is a great reputation to have. So remember that as you go through your own leadership journey, there's people around you who are going through it with you. And when your sidekicks become your subordinates, it's awkward for everyone. So try to make it a little easier on everyone and have those one-on-one conversations, understand each other's expectations, share your vision, and stay humble. If you would like more information about the leadership game, It's Not a Monopoly, or any of my other educational sessions, please visit katierigsby.com.